I kind of be like, ah, get in. Like, you know how you're like, please get in. You just gotta be like, this is Learn, because it was either McDonald's or Sizzler. I'd much rather go to Sizzler than McDonald's. We did not win from our brawn. We won from our mind. I think if you can do something when you really need to do it. And we learned how to do that. That's how we had to learn how to win, because we could definitely not outdrive people, but we outsmarted them because we played to our potential. So we try to break this game down to the most simplest philosophy and easy as possible, so that you can do it practically with your eyes shut, or you know, and just all it's about is form and trusting yourself. And we got the putt down to a science where we're making it as simple as possible and making it so that you're losing as little muscle and just, you know, like I say, it's just repetitious simplicity. You know, it's practically opening your hand. That's what we do when we putt. It's just open your hand. It's like isometric. You don't even really need a disc in your hand. We try to teach people these things. And we putted so much and so many variables and in wind and on slopes, and we've tried every type of putt. And then we just keep coming back to it's basically a hyzer putt, but we're releasing it with anhyzer grip so it stays flat, because you want the disc to hit flat. You have a lot more chance of it staying if you hit. If you have angle in your putt, if you hit on one side of the basket, it's not going to stay. And if your disc is coming in flat, you can hit on either side of the basket. So, and speed kills too. You want to have just enough speed that the disc is positive and it's not wobbling, but so it just falls in. Because if you putt too hard, you know, you're going to have disc is going to go through the basket, or it's going to, you know, there's two things we work on is form and speed with our putts. It's really important. One thing I've noticed, like he said, if you putt it too slow, your sweet spot is smaller. If you putt it too fast, your sweet spot's. So there's an optimal speed, and then there's an optimal angle. I think about punching my disc in the basket because I have a tendency to putt it too soft, and you have to be, there again, my sweet spot becomes smaller because I have to be a little more perfect. So if I tell myself I can punch it, it could be the same putt could go in 15 feet or 20 foot. It's the exact same putt because I'm punching it straight. So it gives me a little more fudge factor if I'm kind of punching it straight. I'm not so much putting more spin on there. If I put more spin on there, it has a chance of going out. It's doing the body transfer that gets my weight and the momentum of the disc moving. So instead of just using, I see a lot of people that use a lot of wrist, and that's not using your weight transfer, and you have a better chance of missing if you're just using wrist. And I think the whole body form, which is kind of a style, kind of like yoga or karate, the stance, and it's a weight transfer and showing balance. That's really important. Weight transfer and getting
back to front.
Yeah, because you want to simplify. Everyone wants putting easy. You don't want it tough.
So you hold it like this?
I just rest it here on my hand. My brother puts this, some people have their finger on the tip. I don't actually. I have it resting on there, and I'm just cradling it in my hand basically. Right. And what I do with the reduced speed is I hold it with a little anhyzer rather than flat.
Okay.
If you putt flat, you have a tendency to hyzer.
Correct.
And when the disc is coming in at this angle, you have less chance of it staying. If they're coming in flat, you can hit on either side and it'll stay. So what I do is I cradle it with an anhyzer. By the time it comes out of my hand, it's pretty flat. Because my hand flips it naturally, and if I start flat, it'll put a lot of hyzer on it. So, you know, you really want it to come into the basket, not too hot, but just enough spin that it's kind of like a horseshoe.
Yeah.
And it just drops in there, you know, and so it's kind of flattening out right when it hits the basket. So you start with that was looking good. And you, like I say, open that hand, keep it cocked, and to me, I'm like how Fonzie goes, "Hey," in my hand, it's like, "Hey," straight up, and you're like painting the pole.
Yeah.
Your hand. Yeah. If you start off with a hyzer putt, you start trying to get your grip, trying to turn your It's kind of, it feels weird and awkward, this grip, and it's like, this isn't right. But I'm not releasing it like that. I'm cradling it like this to start off. By the time I putt, it has straightened out, and the disc is going, and it's just flattening when you get there. Because if you got hyzer, you know what I mean? A hyzer putt, it's good in some conditions, but I've seen them go right through the chains, and if you hit on the right side with the left side, it doesn't want to stay. So really working on getting that disc flat is important for all of us, you know. You want a putt that has a lot of fudge factor, which I say it doesn't have to be perfect to go in. It can be off, your line can be off and the putt will still go in. That's really important. That's why me and my brother have evolved a slight anhyzer putt, which is flat right at the pole. And I can hit left or right side of the pole and it'll still go in. And I think that's really important. A lot of people putt with hyzer, and a hyzer is actually a lower percentage putt. It has a smaller sweet spot, so you have to be more perfect to make it. So if you putt with a slant anhyzer and it ends up hyzer, it's kind of flat, with nose up, you have a lot more fudge factor. I can make a 10 or 20 foot putt and it's exactly the same putt. In other words, because it's going straight at the target. So I think that's really important for putters is to learn how to putt a flat putt with the anhyzer. For headwind, I like to putt an anhyzer. Actually, I do. I like to putt low with a slight anhyzer. And the putt will lift just a little bit, and if it hits the edge, it will go in. Because I notice in the wind, the putts like to lift, either way, hyzer or anhyzer. But if you start low with the anhyzer, I notice that it doesn't lift it or drop as fast as a hyzer putt. And I think that's a really good style. The low with a slight anhyzer, hitting the basket with the opposite angle. So the right-hander would be coming across and the left-hander goes like this. So, and I'm perpendicular to the basket and I'm starting low. And I think that's really important for a headwind putt. That's how I used to putt in the headwind, and I was pretty good. You want to be able to free your arm up. Now, if you putt like this, too straight, some people putt like this, your putt will either hit your body or knee, or so that makes you pull it one way or the other. And if you have room for your arm to really swing and keep in one piece, and then just, like I say, I'm keeping it curled and I'm opening my wrist. And so you're just, like I say, we've reduced every variable to try to make it as simple as possible. So like I tell myself, my grandmother can make this putt. Yeah. And then she whacked me if I missed. That's how I tell myself. So I want it to feel good. Because, if it feels good and looks good, if I miss, it's not bad. But if I go, I miss, and it's all limbs, like, God, you expect that to go in? You don't want to tell what you have to do when you're putting a lot of different things. You just want to say, okay, I want to come in flat. Because if you're going, aim right, get more angle, there's too many variables.
Yeah, you made it too complicated.
Yeah, you want to make it simple.
To think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple, stupid, easy to learn. Like I said, I could watch all you guys try things and I can give you a little pointers on what you're doing. But I've noticed a lot of times people, so their weight transfer is wrong, or their body stance is wrong. And if you have you can either pull it one way or the other. Some people go, I'm good straight, but I pull it to the right or to the left. That to me means that their weight isn't set up right. It's kind of like a karate stance or yoga or something where you really have to have a strong foundation. Because having a strong foundation is really good. Strong and able to transfer that weight onto your front foot and still be in balance. I've noticed I miss a lot of putts when I didn't check my stance. So I get up there and just go, point. It's like, that was stupid. All I had to do is get back and get my weight back here. If I bend my leg, I get all my weight from the back and thrust. And so, like I say, everything's about reducing variables. Then start close. Right. And then you gain your confidence. A lot of people are like putting from 80 feet and stuff like, well, how many times do you make an 80-footer? Really, but if you miss a 20-footer, you're like, we should practice 20-footers. So a lot of this, is like trying to build a basis of something that you can, a repetitious putt that you can do over and over. So we try to have the same release, but we change our weight transfer. The further I get, the more I get myself straightened out so I can really get a lot of push. I get down, so I can really do the same release almost, but it's just with the footwork. And the closer you get, you don't even really need to do that. You can just kind of like I said, unhinge the wrist and open it up. So then when I go back further, it's the same release. And I'm getting sideways because you want to be sideways. You just come up. But it's the same release and the same arm motion, but everything else is like from weight transfer. A little more weight transfer. Try lifting your toe up. You'll get more. Nice, Michelle. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Right. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your body or your arm. Just make sure that your putter is not going to hit your b So you got your, okay. Try to roll it to your heel to your toe.
Well, I'm trying to do it all with my wrist instead of letting my fingers.
Good, that was really good right there. That feel good?
Yeah.
So you get that extra push, right? And so you're just, I'm looking at that orange strip. I'm looking right in that middle, you know, and so, like I said, I like that putt you did right there. So try it again. Try to, you know, make it feel good. They say try to roll it from your heel to your toe, and the putt comes up right then.
Our place has been pretty bad this year. We kind of lost.
No, I look on the left side and I just go flat, just to the left. And then hopefully it'll drop into the basket.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for long putts, and it's kind of like floating it and letting it drop in, and hopefully it goes in. You know?
Yeah. And you're talking 70.
Yeah, I'm talking like,
78.
to me a putt is like 40 feet and in. That's something that I feel I should make.
Second circle and
Yeah, and you know, putting should be, you should have a confidence level. It should be like 30 feet, you know you're going to make the putt because you're practicing these all day, and it's just the same thing over and over again. So I focus on form, because if I tell myself as long as it looks good and feels good, it's better than, whenever I miss it, it doesn't feel good. I'm kind of rigid or I'm too tight or something, but if I'm flowing, the chances are better that I'm going to make the putt. So I think flowing is important, and that's why having my feet way apart and having flowing style. And we used to putt an hour a day, every day, and after a while, you just, you know, there's no way I'm going to miss a 30-footer. That's how I think about it. Putting is where the money is too. If you know it's like, oh, a 30-footer, it's a gimme. That's how it should be in your mind. So this is a gimme. I go through the form and it goes in, and you go, well, okay, that's how it's supposed to go. When we were serious, I was putting a half hour a day, seriously. And that's like so much putting, you're like sick. Just bring me a tournament. I'm done practicing, you know. I practice so hard, like I'm just waiting to play a tournament. I'm ready, you know. And that's what you want. You know, sometimes I'll be like scared. Well, I'm not ready. You're not confident. You're scared. You're like, oh look, I'm gonna putt in front of all these people. I missed. You know. So, great players, if you watch them, they make it look easy, like in any sport. And everyone's just refining it down to the most simplest form. And so we putted literally more putts, probably enough to go to San Francisco. We walked, and we've done so much putting that, you know, when you need to survive on your putting, that's when you gotta make something that really works.